everybody, today I am going to be addressing a frequently asked nutritional question. It's about how to reduce the arsenic in rice, or to shop, buy and prepare rice with less arsenic in it. Alright, so frequently asked question. I love getting my frequently asked questions, so let this be an invitation to you to please leave me questions. I really enjoy getting them in the comment section underneath the video, and I pop in every couple of days and try and answer as many questions as I possibly can. Apologize if I haven't got to your question. But today I want to address the issue of arsenic in rice. So I love to give tips about how to stay really healthy on a whole food plant-based diet, or a primarily whole food plant-based diet. And I happen to think that whole grains play a really important part in a plant-based diet. I know there's all this grain-free movement right now, but I think, if you can eat grains, I really recommend that you do, for two reasons. If you stop eating grains, you are eliminating a big, huge food group that is full of nutrients, minerals in particular. And the other main reason why it's really important to include whole grains is because of your microbiome, a healthy gut. So the good bacteria in your gut is very dependent on being fed. So you want to actually feed the good guys so that they multiply and crowd out the bad guys. So the way that we feed the good guys is through something known as prebiotics, which is primarily foods with a lot of fiber in them, but this does include whole grains. So eat your whole grains. But rice has become a bit of a problem. I still do eat rice, and rice, particularly in the kind of health food movement and grain bowls and everything, we eat a lot of rice. So I guess that's why you guys are asking me this question. You girls and guys are asking me this question a lot. It is a concern. Arsenic in rice is a worry. Why is there arsenic in rice? Why is there more arsenic in rice now than there perhaps was 50 years ago, 100 years ago? Well, it's because of the polluted environment that we live in. And it's not just arsenic, it's all the other pollutants, which is really, I think, what finally tipped me into going fully whole food plant-based, because that's a whole other subject. But pollutants, whether it's PCBs and dioxins, which are carcinogens, they make their way up the food chain and sequester in lipophilic tissue, in fat. And so anyway, but another subject. But one of the many industrial pollutants from pesticides industry, etc., is arsenic. And arsenic is, of course, carcinogenic and can create many health problems, including heart disease and cancer. So obviously we don't want to be eating too much arsenic. We want to really minimize the amount that we ingest. Now, much like many of these pollutants, it's hard to avoid it completely because it's in our environment, our water, our soil, and we don't want to drive ourselves crazy about it. And we don't need to drive ourselves crazy about it. And what I'm going to show you in this video is how you actually can keep eating rice, because rice is a really healthy food. Brown rice, whole rice is and can be a healthy food, but we do need to be aware of this arsenic issue. So I'm going to tell you actually very quickly how best to shop for it and prepare it so that you can dramatically minimize the levels of arsenic in your rice by up to 80%. So listen on, I'm going to get straight to it. So the first thing is, where do we buy our rice from? And I think this is, in a way, the most confusing and sometimes contentious issue in all the research and studies and different papers and things that I've read. There seems to be, some people say, you've got to buy it from here or buy it from there. So without getting too much into it in this video, I'm going to put a link underneath the video, particularly for those of you who don't live in the United States, because you then will likely be buying your rice from maybe from Asia, from Pakistan, from wherever, India. So I'm going to make this really simple for you, so pop onto the link that I'll provide underneath this video. If you live in the US, your best bet is to buy rice that is grown in California. Now, what I forgot to say is, how does arsenic get into rice particularly, and why is rice such a concern? Well, rice is obviously grown in water in paddy fields, and that's where a lot of the pollutants are found in that water, and the rice uptakes the arsenic, and it sequesters itself in the rice bran, the outer kernel, and that's why brown rice is ostensibly much worse arsenic-wise than white rice. But let's take white rice off the table for this discussion, because white rice really isn't a health food. It's had all of its goodness taken off of it, just like white pasta or white bread has. And it will spike your blood sugar. So that's what refined foods do. So let's take that off the table and let's stay in the sort of healthy brown rice discussion. So where you source it, very important. If you live in the US, you want to try and get it from California. Californian rice, by and large, has been found to have 40% lower arsenic levels than rice grown elsewhere. So there's one brand that I have right here in my hand. I don't work for them, I don't endorse them, I'm not getting paid by them. I just happen to like this brand. It's a family-run company. It's called Lundberg Family Farms. They're in Northern California, and they do a lot of different rice products. So they do rice cakes, brown rice syrup, brown rice chips, the whole 9 yards. So this would be a good brand for you to go to. By the way, on that note of all the other rice products, infant rice cereal, rice this, rice that, minimize all of those. If you eat any rice and you want to continue eating rice, just eat whole grain brown rice for the moment until we get more information. The other rice that's been found to have lower levels of arsenic is basmati rice. So I've got the best of both worlds right here in my hand, because, oh, actually I don't, because it's white rice. I didn't see that. But I do have this. I think I might have picked this up by mistake, this one, and then I cooked it for my daughter because kids tend to much prefer white rice. But this exact rice comes in a brown. So Lundberg Family Farms brown basmati rice is a very, very good choice. So that's significant, 40% less arsenic. There are many other brands. If I can be absolutely sure about some of them, I'll link underneath the video, but I'm not putting any links until I know for absolute sure. So here's the other thing that's really, really important is how you cook your rice, because how you cook your rice can actually reduce the arsenic levels by 80%. So again, this tells me that if I use a brown basmati rice that is grown in California or some of the other healthier regions that I will link to underneath the video, if you're watching this video from elsewhere in the globe and you don't want to ship rice from California, which I'm sure you don't, so we got that, we've got the good rice, and now here's how you're going to prepare it. So it has been found, studies have shown that if you cook your rice 1 part rice to 5 parts water, then that will significantly reduce the arsenic levels. So normally, I don't know about you, but typically I would use 1 part rice and 2 parts water. But I'm asking you to do 1 part rice to 5, even 6 parts water. So you'll have to rinse out your rice, but that's a good thing. So here's how I suggest you cook your rice. Soak it overnight, the night before. That's the other thing that they found will reduce the arsenic. So soak it the night before for the whole night. Then before you cook it, give it a really good rinse. Then cook it 1 part rice, so 1 cup of rice to 5 to 6 cups of water. Then rinse it and rinse it. So rinse it, really give it a good rinse after it's cooked. And then you're going to have a rice that is healthy, that is significantly lower in arsenic. And in my opinion, I think that is a sort of a good, healthy and safe way to go with your rice. And of course, don't eat it every single day, because there are so many other really, really healthy grains. We don't have to eat rice. There's quinoa and millet, I think, are the two healthiest grains, because they're both so high in protein. And of course, there's buckwheat, there's farro, there's all kinds of other grains that are super duper healthy as well. But not everybody loves the taste of quinoa and millet. Certainly my family definitely raise an eyebrow, my husband and my daughter, when I cook. My daughter really doesn't like quinoa. She finds it, she just is like, no, don't cook quinoa. So I do a lot of soups and stews and veggie chilies and things like that everybody really enjoys rice with. So that's what I'll do for her. And as soon as this white rice is finished, then I'll only be buying brown basmati rice. So I hope you found that helpful, and please, as I say, please leave me comments, because your comments are useful. Your questions are wonderful, because if you have a question, about the topic in hand, then you can bet that 100 other people have that same question. So you're actually helping by leaving a question. And be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I put out 2 brand new videos a week. It's not just nutrition. I do skincare reviews, I do DIYs, I do all sorts of different stuff. And I'm also starting to put out a once weekly vlog, because I had a lot of requests for that. So you can sort of better get to know me and my life and kind of behind the scenes on my crazy family and my lifestyle. That's what I'm trying to have the courage actually to do. It's always like, oh really, do I really want to do that? But I'm going to do that. I'm just taking the plunge. So thank you so much for watching me and for listening to this, and I will see you next time.